listening to Grounded.
Grounded? What's that? I'm grounded in Jesus.
I'm grounded in Jesus. LLA.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Grounded Stories, a storytelling podcast created for our SECC education community. We hope that Grounded Stories will be a resource to provide a little fun and laughter, and of course, encouragement to stay grounded in Jesus in the ever-changing world that we live in. We're here because we believe that spiritual connection doesn't have to stop while we're all quarantined in our houses. In fact, it just means that we have to be a little more creative about how we connect with each other. Last week, we learned about how contagious kindness and encouragement can be. We hope that you were able to encourage others through your words and actions. This week, we're going to be exploring what to do when we have conflicts. You know, like when you get annoyed, disagree, argue, or fight with others. Now that you're spending a lot more time at home with your family members, it's normal to have conflicts. It's how you solve them that makes all the difference. Let's jump right into Linz's work Zoom meeting as we learn more about how to solve conflicts.
So I had this idea that I think would make our company so much more successful, and I think you're all going to agree.
Sorry, honey, I'll be there in just a few minutes. This meeting should be over, but this lady keeps talking on and on. She thinks she knows how to solve every problem.
As I was saying, our profits could increase twofold if we would just change this element of our workflow.
Wow. Change workflow? Ugh.
Okay, I've had it. I'm tired of you making all your insulting comments during our meeting. If you had a better idea, you should try to suggest some ideas yourself.
Whoops, honey. I guess I wasn't muted. They heard everything I said.
Yes, we heard everything you said. Even if you were muted, your facial expressions were even louder than your words.
Hey everyone. I'm really loving everyone's ideas, and this just seems to be a little misunderstanding or something.
Stay out of this, Linz. This is between me and her. You're always happy about everything, but this idea will not fly.
Well, if you were
None of your ideas
I
ever
think
work.
if we
You
just
always have these
listen to each
crazy
other
ideas on
and
how to
don't
make
talk
things
over
better.
each
But if you
other,
were
we
to
could
just
all
do your job
understand
the
that
right
we're
way,
just
we
trying
wouldn't have
to
conflict
achieve
anymore.
the same
Ideas would
thing.
naturally be
I'm
where
sure
I'm
we'll
going
be
instead
able
of
to
always
come up
being
with a
behind.
Enough!
Yes, ma'am, boss ma'am.
This is a Zoom meeting, not a zoo. You're all acting like animals. I'm muting everyone. The only good feature of Zoom meetings. One of our upcoming trainings is supposed to be about conflict resolution, but I think we're going to do that next week instead of our normal meeting because clearly we need that more than anything else. Okay, so let's table this discussion/argument and meet again next week. Same time, same Zoom link. Until then, please continue working on your projects. See you all next week.
Wow, that was so loud. I could hear it through your headphones. Sounds like your work meeting was a disaster.
Clay, it's so hard. I know both of them want what's best for the company, but they just don't seem to know how to talk in a respectful way, and our meetings seem to end up like this very often. I have to say, I think conflict resolution training is actually going to be really good.
Conflict resolution? Is that where you learn how to solve problems and get along better? They teach classes on that stuff?
Apparently. And it'll probably be a good training. Hey, maybe you should watch it with me so we can learn how to solve our own problems better.
Problems? I don't even think we really have disagreements or arguments.
Really, Clay? Remember what happened last week with the TV? Yes, I can't wait. The next season of Cupcake Wars just came out. Here we go.
In just a minute, 4 bakers will go head-to-head in the world's greatest cupcake clash. Nothing like some relaxing, moving art.
Excuse me? How can you just come in here like that and change the show? I was clearly here first and had already started watching Cupcake Wars, and you just came in here like you own this TV.
Linz, I always watch moving art every Tuesday at 3:12 p.m. If you were to check the TV watching schedule that's on our refrigerator, you'll see that I'm penciled in at 3:12 every Tuesday.
What are you even talking about? Since when do we have a TV watching schedule?
You never even listened to me. I told you that I would create that schedule the last time we were fighting about TV shows.
What? And why do you even like watching moving art? It's like not even a TV show. It's just a bunch of slow motion videos with relaxation music. I think it's intended to make people fall asleep, not actually watch it.
Well, I happen to really like it. It helps me relax and puts me in a good mood and sets the tone for the rest of my day.
So when did you schedule in my TV time?
Well, I know that you're usually busy with all your crazy projects until 10 p.m., so you have the slot between 10 and 11 p.m.
Are you kidding me? This schedule is ridiculous. I'm not going to wait until 10 o'clock to watch TV just so you can watch moving art.
I don't want to watch moving art all afternoon. I just want to watch it from 3:12 until 3:58. But after that, I prefer to not have the TV on so it doesn't mess up my state of mind.
So, let me get this straight. You don't want me to watch TV until 10 o'clock. Not because you are actually using the TV, but because you just don't like the sound of my TV show.
Exactly. I'm so glad that we're on the same page. I thought we solved that problem quite well.
Really? That was not good conflict resolution.
Well, it's not just my fault. I'm not the only one that causes conflicts, you know? What about your unreasonable shower routine? Nothing like a nice bath. I've got my collection of 30 rubber duckies, I've got my bubbles, and the bath is just about full. Here we go. Ah! This water is icy cold. Linz! You used up all the hot water again!
Clay, there's nothing unreasonable about taking a 45-minute shower at night. I mean, I cut my morning shower time down to less than 25 minutes, so it's much better than it used to be.
Linz, it should only take 5 minutes to take a shower. Do you know how much cheaper our water bill would be if you just took a 5-minute shower?
Easy for you to say. You only have like 2 inches of hair. Do you even know how long it takes to wash and condition this beautiful long locks of hair I have? It's like you have zero understanding of these things. Plus, you know that you use more water to take a bath than I do to take a shower. The bathtub is like 1,000,000 gallons of water.
Actually, according to the National Bubble Bath Time Association, the average bath only takes about 70 gallons of water. A 5-minute shower uses about 15 gallons of water. So with your 2 showers a day, taking a total of 1 hour and 10 minutes, you're using about 210 gallons of water. That's 3 times the amount of water I'm using. That could probably keep a small village from being thirsty for days.
Why do you always have to make things sound so bad? Well, what about the time when we got the stimulus check from the government because of all this COVID-19 stuff?
Linz, did you see our bank account? It's amazing that we got all this money from that stimulus check that the government is giving to help people through this time of quarantine. What should we do with all that money?
Well, we don't really need it. We haven't lost our jobs, and there's so many people who really need it a lot more than we do. Maybe we should share it with others, especially those who were struck hardest by this disease.
That's really nice and all, but I think we should spend our money on buying a new TV.
What? Why would we need a new TV? I mean, we already have a perfectly functioning TV.
We do have one perfectly functioning TV, but since someone won't respect the TV watching schedule on the refrigerator, we always have fights about TV.
Is this about your moving art show again? How about we just buy you a $20 piece of still art and mount it on the wall, and then you can listen to relaxing music and move your head back and forth. That's pretty much the same thing as moving art.
No respect for the power of moving art. It's not called moving art because of the motion on the screen.
Clearly, since it's in slow-mo.
Linz, it's moving in so many ways, like as in it touches my heart. It helps me relax and it helps me get focused in life. So
you want to spend a bunch of money on a new TV so you can watch moving art. You are so selfish.
So maybe this conflict resolution training could help us a little.
For sure. Okay, so it's time for our conflict resolution training. Come join me, Clay. It's starting.
I'm coming.
Hey everyone, my name's Ingrid, and this is a training on conflict resolution in relationships and in teams. I hear that there's sometimes conflicts between members of your team.
Some of us are always negative about the ideas of others.
That's because some of us don't have good ideas to share.
Well, okay. Let's hold on to those thoughts for a bit as we begin our conversation. Did you know that conflicts in relationships are normal and can actually be a good thing?
What?
Yeah, I know that may not be what you expected to hear today, but anytime you have 2 or more people who have to work closely together in home or at work, there will always be conflicts. In workplaces, people tend to have conflicts about ideas or policies and unkind things that are sometimes said. In homes, sometimes there's conflicts about big things, but many times it's just about little things, like who gets to use the TV remote, or using up the hot water with long showers, or how money is spent.
What? Has she been spying on us or something?
Shh, Clay, she can hear us, remember?
Linz, I thought you muted us.
Shh, this is an open discussion type of training.
I don't mean to call anyone out. These are just common conflicts in all of our homes. Conflicts are a normal part of life. The question is not what if we have conflicts, it's what should we do when we have conflicts? You see, because that's when conflicts can either be healthy and build the relationship up, or be really bad and cause a lot of hurt feelings or anger or things like that. When conflicts happen, we always have a choice of how we're going to respond. We can't choose whether or not conflicts will happen. That happens just naturally, but we can choose how we can respond. We can ignore it and act like nothing happened, but this usually doesn't go well because, if we never talk about what's going on after a while, we usually end up showing our upset feelings through our actions.
Linz, that's like the time when we were arguing and you said you were fine, but then you put on your headphones and wouldn't talk to me for like 3 hours.
Clay, that's clearly because I was listening to music.
Your headphones weren't even plugged in.
Oh, I didn't know you had seen that.
Other people respond to conflicts with anger. I don't know if you know anyone like this, but sometimes people yell or blame others or call people names or throw tantrums or do other hurtful things instead of actually talking about the problem.
At least we don't do that.
We'll come back to this one later.
But the Bible has a better plan for solving conflicts. There's actually a story in Genesis that is a great example of how we should deal with conflicts. It's found in Genesis 13 and has to do with 2 men, Abram.
That's me.
Or you might know him as Abraham. But this story takes place before God changed his name from Abram to Abraham.
That's confusing.
And the other man was Abram's nephew named Lot.
What's up?
Let's just say he was a lot to handle.
Hey, you trying to start something?
Anyway, Abram was a very rich man. He had tons of cows and sheep and camels and loads of silver and gold.
I'm living the dream.
And when I say this, I don't mean that he had like 50 sheep. He probably had thousands of animals. And in those days, that was like being a multi-millionaire, which you might not think is a problem, right? Until we read about Lot. So Lot was also quite rich and had tons of cows and sheep. I'm not quite sure if he had silver and gold, but the Bible mentions that he had a lot of tents.
Yep, I'm living an intense kind of life. Get it? Intense.
Like I said, he was a lot to handle. The conflict in this story didn't start because of anything that Lot or Abram did. The Bible says that they both had so many animals that the land that they lived on wasn't big enough for all of them. The sheep started getting angry, and the cows were too. And you know what they say about mad cows. No? Oh, tough crowd. I guess these jokes are off the table right now. Anyway, sorry about that. Lot's shepherds and Abram's shepherds started having fights about where their animals could graze and what space belonged to who.
Hey, you can't bring your sheep in here. We got here first.
Humbug. We can bring our cows and sheep wherever we want to. We're Abram's shepherds. You're lucky that our master even lets Lot's animals live here.
And the conflicts got bigger and bigger until it was finally completely out of hand. At that point, Abram could have ignored it and tried to act like there was nothing wrong. He could have yelled at Lot and called his shepherds bad names, but he chose a very different solution. Abram called Lot out of one of his many tents to have a chat.
Hey, Lot, can we chat for a few minutes?
Sure. What's up?
So, I've been hearing a lot of yelling and name-calling happening in the pastures lately. Do you know what's going on out there?
Well, your shepherds keep telling my shepherds what to do and where to go.
Lot, you know what? We're family. And that's a lot more important to me than having the best land or more tents or more animals. Let's not argue. Let's find a solution to this. There's a lot of land around here. Why don't you pick where you'd like to settle down? Wherever you go, I'll go the other direction so we both have plenty of space.
This was a great deal for Lot, because he got to choose the land he thought was better. He saw that the plain of Jordan was lush and green and better than any golf course, and he was like,
I'm going there. Thanks, Uncle Abes.
What? Abraham gave his nephew first dibs? Why would he do that? Weren't elders supposed to have the final word back then?
Well, he could have tried to get his way, but Abraham made a better choice to resolve the conflict. He chose to put the relationship above getting the best. You know, his relationship with family was so important to him that he was willing to give Lot first choice to let him know that he cared. And that is, that's the secret to healthy conflict resolution. When you value the relationships we have with our coworkers and our family members and our friends so much that we won't ignore conflicts, but we'll rather talk about them. And we will do what we can to keep those relationships strong.
That sounds great, but how do we actually do that when someone else is always putting down our ideas?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to be honest, it is hard. But here are two things that each person can share that can help bring about a solution. The first are feelings, and the second are needs. Would you two be interested in using this tool to help solve your conflict?
I'm okay with it if she's okay with it.
Okay, I guess it couldn't get any worse.
Okay, great enthusiasm, guys. But let's try. First, each person should express how she is feeling. I like to use this sentence. I feel blank when you blank. For example, I feel sad when you yell at me. Or, I feel lonely when you ignore me. Why don't you two give it a try?
Okay, well, I feel hurt when you put down my ideas.
And I feel frustrated when you act like your ideas are gonna solve everyone's problems. It feels like you think that your ideas are better than everyone else's.
Oh wow, really? I never knew I came across that way. I only suggest things because I want to help our whole team.
Yeah, I know you don't mean it, but sometimes it feels that way. And I'm sorry for putting your ideas down. I really like some of them.
Perfect. You both were able to show how you feel, and that's the first step to solving conflicts. I love how you both shared your feelings without yelling or blaming or using put-downs. Can you see how sharing your feelings helps you to understand the other person better?
Yeah.
So the next step is to talk about needs. Each person should share what they need to feel like the conflict is resolving. For example, if someone feels ignored, he or she might say, I need to know that you care. Would you like to try it?
I guess I need to feel safe sharing my ideas.
Okay, well, I need $1 million. Just kidding. But seriously, I would like it if you could share your ideas in a way that doesn't sound like they're the best. I'd love it if we could all share our ideas as well.
I can work on that.
And I can make sure I'm muted during a Zoom meeting. Just kidding again. I can stop putting down your ideas.
Wow. You two modeled that perfectly. How do you both feel?
That was really helpful. It was great that we solved things without having an argument.
Yeah, it was such a relief to share my feelings and to feel like I was understood.
And that is what healthy conflict resolution feels like. You know, when we started, I mentioned that conflicts can actually be a good thing, even though it doesn't always feel like it in the very beginning. And that's because when we solve them well, they actually help us to feel closer to each other than we did before. So this is just one strategy for solving conflicts. Let's dive into a few others. Thanks, guys.
Wow, that was so simple, but so good.
Yeah, I really like the 2 steps. Sharing feelings and sharing needs.
Do you think those could work for us too?
Well, only one way to find out. Linz, I feel embarrassed when you make fun of my love of moving art. It's so relaxing and cool to me, and really helps me a lot, especially when we're at home so much. I guess I need to know that you think I'm awesome no matter what show I like to watch.
Of course I think you're awesome. I guess I've been carried away with this whole moving art thing. I'm sorry, I'll cut it out. I don't understand moving art. So maybe I can watch it a few times with you and see what it's all about.
Yes! You're going to get hooked, Linz.
I highly doubt it, but at least I'll be able to understand it better. So for my feelings, I feel really frustrated when you block off the entire afternoon on the TV watching schedule that I didn't even know you had created. I guess I just need to have more freedom to watch my show when I want, instead of at the very end of the day when I'm already ready for bed.
You're right. I guess I've been a bit unreasonable in blocking off the entire afternoon and evening.
A bit?
Oh, all right. A lot unreasonable. I'm sorry, Linz.
Wow. I guess this conflict resolution stuff really does work.
Like you said, it's so simple, but it's so good. Kinda like my moving art.
It does take work, but if we value our relationships as much as Abram valued his relationship with Lot, I guess it's worth the work.
Yup.
So, you know what else I need?
What's that?
I still need to watch the next episode of Cupcake Wars. Wanna watch it with me?
Friends, have you gotten upset with someone recently? Has someone gotten upset at you? If so, chances are that you had a conflict. You could ignore it, or you could get super upset and throw a tantrum. Or you can talk about the two things that Clay and Linz learned about: feelings and needs. For feelings, you can say, when you blank, I feel blank. And let the other person share their feelings as well. This helps you to understand each other better. Next, you can both share what you need from the other person. You could say, I need you to speak to me in a kind way, or I would like it if you could share and take turns instead of using that toy all day. If you need help with remembering these tips, click on the link in the show notes below, and you can print out a poster that can remind you about these two important words. You'll also see a link to a whole list of feeling emojis that can help you figure out how you're feeling. Ready to take the challenge to solve conflicts in kind ways? Well, last week, I'm guessing many of you encouraged others through your words and actions. Unfortunately, we didn't get any recordings to share this week. However, we did hear from one of you who practiced diligence back from episode 26. And if you listen closely, I think you'll hear some encouragement as well.
Hi, my name is Rob Perez. I'm in 2nd grade. This week, I showed diligence by dropping off a bag of food and water on a bench where there was a homeless man, and then me and my parents came home and prayed for him. Also, since the Bible says to take care of our leaders, I wrote a note of thanks and dropped it off along with a care package for my pastor at the church door, since he has had to keep working through this time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Grounded Stories. And thanks, Rao, for sharing how you combine diligence and encouragement to help others. This week, if you're able to solve a conflict, I hope you'll record a message with your name, grade level, and what you did, and email it to ckoh@lla.org. This episode featured the voices of yours truly, Clayton Coe, and my lovely wife, Lindsay. We also had Pastor Christopher Lowen as Abram, Pastor Joe Cordero as Lot, Pastor Rochelle Webster as Ingrid, and Olivia Annalise and Elizabeth Millett as Linz's colleagues. Grounded Stories is produced for the Southeastern California Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Office of Education. We hope that these stories will help to keep us all grounded as we live by faith in Jesus.